This was the greatest country in the world. He says it was a dead country. How are we a dead country? We had the strongest military in the world and the strongest economy in the world, but we was a dead country. Welcome to the Think Tank. We use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased logical conclusions. And today I'm here with my co-host, as normal, the Honorable Dion Powell. Remember, this is for education and entertainment purposes only. Dion, it's on you.
I'm the education, Leo's entertainment. You'll see. I'm District Leader Dion Powell at the Bronx Conservative Party, here from an undisclosed, poorly lit location in South Jersey, trying to flip this state red and make New Jersey great again.
Well, I will educate you, and I definitely entertain you. That's a fact. Well, I don't know, because I don't really find this shit funny. Because now we're talking about the housing affordability crisis. So Donald Trump ran on making America great again, on bringing prices down day one, on bringing jobs back, on affordable housing, where we stop here now. Affordable housing. I just want to do the fake echo effect because, there's nothing funny about it. What is affordable housing? People think affordable housing, they're like, well, how much does a house cost? But that's not what affordable housing is. That's a part of a bigger picture. When you talk about affordable housing, how much is your rent right now? I know that mine is stupid high for where I live at. Is yours? Or if you want to move right now, are you going to be able to afford to go to that next place based on what rent is currently versus what it was during the Biden administration?
No.
That is a affordable housing crisis. And that is direct result of our leadership in the great Donald Trump. He has brought prices up, including the prices of homes. Donald Trump has this country in trouble. What do you have for that, Dion? Talk to me.
Well, again, these things are, when it comes to economics, not my strong suit. I've always said that a lot. These things are constant flux when it comes to the housing market and the housing bubble and things of that nature. So we just have to wait and see. But again, this goes back to what the Fed and Jerome Powell, no relation, and cutting interest rates and some of those other things that tie into the great, big, beautiful bill that the president wants. And so I could just pivot and just blame Jerome Powell not cutting interest rates. And that's the reason why we're in this predicament. How about that?
Wonderful.
He did cut it a little bit, though. I will give him that. If you look at the news recently.
Yes, he cut half an interest. He cut half of one. And here's why. Because he said what he was going to do. He said what he was always saying. He said what he's always said. Now, I'm not an economist. However, what Jerome Powell said was based on two things: the job market and inflation. It's kind of simple, really, when you think about it. If people got jobs, if inflation is low, if prices ain't up, why would he want to lower interest rates? He got to keep the economy stable. He lowers interest rates, prices get too low, we get into something called deflation. Deflation is actually worse than inflation. You don't want to go into deflation. It just means, yes, you can get things for cheaper, but then you get an overflow of money. And the job reports were saying, based on the information that the administration was giving to the statistician that was in place at the time, the job market is wonderful, as Trump kept saying. So he wanted his administration giving this information. When the information finally came out that, oh, wait a minute, everything is not what it appears to be. The job market's not wonderful. Matter of fact, for the first time since Trump's been in office, we've lost jobs. The last time was, they say, oh, it wasn't his fault. It was, it was the China bug. It was Fauci. It was everybody's fault but Donald Trump's. It was COVID. COVID got here because Trump let it in. Oh, don't blame Trump. Blame somebody else. Never look at the person in charge who's responsible, because it's the guys underneath him. He only takes credit for things that are good, so he hasn't taken credit for much as of recent. Last time he was in office, people lost jobs. Through the entire Biden administration, people gained jobs. Trump's back in office. He puts policies in place, tariffs, and people lose jobs again. When Trump's in office, people lose jobs. That is now historical fact. We talk about we don't want to hear tyrant. We don't want to hear authoritarian, totalitarian, dictator. When Trump's in office, people lose jobs, prices go up. You want to hear that? Because that's what it is. Trump costs people jobs. He makes life unaffordable. He got it so that you can't afford your rent. You can't afford your food. You can't take your kids out to eat. It's because of Trump. The dictator, the authoritarian, the fascists. But none of them words matter. Your rent is too high because of Trump. You can't afford to buy a house because of Trump. So we made it real easy for people that don't want to think to have to think when you look at your paycheck and it doesn't stretch the way you want it to. It's because of the policies in place implemented by our authoritarian regime. It's because of Trump. We're living through the falling of a dynasty. This was the greatest country in the world. He says it was a dead country. How are we a dead country? We had the strongest military in the world and the strongest economy in the world, but we was a dead country. Anybody who believes that is just plain stupid. With the greatest military in the world and the strongest economy. If that's a dead country, then leave us dead. Leave us the fuck alone. Why would you change us? Why would you want to change having the number one economy in the world? Why would you want to do something to interfere with that? Why would you want to change that? Now we can't even afford rent. Why did you come and mess up our economy? Oh, I get it, because you want to make yourself and your people around you rich. Like we've been saying from day one, like we told was going to happen with this big, beautiful bill. We said A, B, C, D, and E is going to happen. All I kept hearing was, well, it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. It's happening. People can't afford the roofs over their head. It's happening now. There's a housing affordability crisis. People can't afford rent. It's now happening. This is no longer, people are making it up. It didn't happen yet. It's happening now. And it's only the beginning. It hasn't even really started yet. This is the tip of the iceberg. That damn bill is going to cause a tidal wave of earthquakes. If anybody can read.
Very hyperbolic. Hasn't happened yet, but yes, go ahead.
It's happening. People can't afford their rents. What do you call that? What do you call that? That's okay?
I call it, once again, the economy being the economy. But yes, again, I could deflect to Jerome Powell not cutting the interest rates in a timely fashion that the president needed him to, that we're in this mess. How's that sound?
Okay, let's examine that. I'll go for that. Trump put in office, went through the entire Biden administration where people got jobs, rent was affordable, food was affordable, inflation was going down. Jerome Powell had Jerome Powell the entire time. And what happened while he had Jerome Powell? The economy was stable. Our economy recovered from COVID. Our economy was the wonder of the world, and Fauci was sitting at the chair.
Jerome Powell.
That Jerome Powell, that Powell, the one who was sitting at the chair when our economy recovered from COVID and was the wonder of the world. That Jerome Powell, that is telling Trump, these tariffs are going to hurt. Don't do it. And he does it. He's like, oh, it's Jerome Powell's fault. So now all of a sudden the guy who had us as the wonder of the world and told Trump what he was going to do was going to hurt us. And now we're hurt and it's his fault. It sounds like Trump being Trump, passing the blame.
Well, again, Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, we believe on this side it's a new phenomena, just like the great wokeism. Jerome Powell, people believe was appointed to by the president by bad advice, by something called rhinos. And that's exactly why we're in this mess, because there's another person that is in the Republican realm that's a never Trumper. Understand?
So we're living in a world of alternative facts. So I'm going to come into that world for a little while because, for some reason, reality on that side doesn't sit. So we're going to go into this alternative world. We're going to pretend that we didn't just go through 4 years of this man sitting at the head of the Fed, coming out of the worst economic times we've had since the Great Depression, and that he didn't lead us in bringing us out as the Fed chair head. We're going to pretend none of that happened. We're going to come into this alternate world where he doesn't know what he's talking about, and people like me wasn't telling you all along, these tariffs are going to have this effect.
The balance is tariffs fall, huh?
Yeah, I think kind of, yeah.
On that housing
Like,
market.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely, 100%. I understand. Economics is your strong suit, so I'm going to make it
That's
simple.
why I'm asking questions.
I'm going to make it simple. All right, boom. So you want to make a house, right? You want to build a new home. What do you need? You probably need some wood, right? Starters. What's 50% more? You're going to need some steel, right? Steel's 50% more. God, building this house is all of a sudden getting expensive. Everything's costing 50% more. Yeah, them tariffs is going to cost you, make the house, the price of building a new home 20 to 30% higher. So yes, the tariffs directly increased the affordable housing prices. It's definitely, and bringing down 1%, a half a percentage point isn't even going to fix it. That's not nearly enough. He's talking about bringing down half a point every month right now, trying to stop some of the damage that these tariffs will cause. But all it's going to do is make things worse. It's going to stop the problems short term, but no one can even tell what the long-term effects are going to be, because there's never been a time in history where tariffs didn't bring us into a Great Depression. Because the only other time in history where tariffs were run like that caused the Great Depression. So why would we think, so again, we don't do science, we don't do history. But if someone ever read a history book and looked and said, well, A plus B equals C, why would they do A plus B? Don't they understand that C is the ultimate outcome? Why would you want to do that? Because he's making his own people richer. That's the reason. Without question. They all got, listen. Do you dispute that great, terrible bill that he passed, the one big bad bill, do you dispute that one thing that it did do was give enormous tax breaks to the wealthy, to the tune of, they was making like $10,000 a day off of it? Do you dispute that?
No, not at this time. But I do know the middle class did benefit as well from those tax breaks.
The middle class got minor tax breaks that, no tax on tips, and no tax on overtime, that expire in 2 years.
And one more.
It's not true. It's not in the bill. We went through that.
What, you're talking about the
Social Security? It's not true. It's not in there.
It's not in the bill? Okay.
No.
Entertainment purposes.
No, we went through the bill. It's not in there. I don't have to say for entertainment purposes. It's not in there. It's a fact. We've done it on the show like 20 different times now. I can pull it up right now and do it again. It's not there. And you're going to try. Good luck. So, and even if it was, the tax breaks he gave to the middle class expire in 2 years. The tax to the wealthy are extended to forever. So while prices are going up on everything, including housing, where regular people can't afford to live anymore, while programs are being shut down to help people, the rich got so much wealthier. Yeah, he did this to help his people. Without question, that's what happened. You can't even dispute it. Well, I mean, listen, right? If me and you was billionaires and everybody else around us was 100,000 am I gonna write stuff for them? I'm gonna write stuff for us. I'm gonna help us, right? You might not want to hurt people that's bad, maybe that's mean, but you're gonna try and help us, right? That's
Yes.
what he did. That's what he did.
Nepotism and cronyism. It's called nepotism and cronyism.
It is. And that's what he did. Why people would think that he was going to do stuff to help the middle class? Trickle down economics didn't work when Reagan came up with it. Why a trumped up version of it sounded good to anybody is insane to me, but people don't read. So they didn't know. And now they're living it. We went through this 50 years ago, 45 years ago. We're going through it again. It's a horrific thing. So, no, it can't possibly work. It's only going to make us broke. And right now, the way he's doing it, same thing that happened in the 80s. Everything became unaffordable for the average human being. That's what happened. It's happening again. I didn't understand it. I was too young at the time.
Me too.
But I understand it from reading history books and listening to my elders. So then I'm watching it again and I'm seeing what's happening. The economy is in trouble, and it's due to economic policies from the executive branch. And leading that executive branch is a man named Donald Trump, where he has an ego so big that he feels that there's an entire disease with him involved, the Trump derangement syndrome. You have to be really sick. You have to be some sort of real sick person to think to name a disease after yourself and think that people are sick because of, like there's something wrong with that dude. But it's cool. It's cool. When people used to tell me there was something wrong with him before, I didn't see it either.
He's going to be the oldest president in history of America. So
he's not going to be the oldest president in
up.
history of America. He is the oldest president in the history of America right now, at this moment. There's never been a president as old as he is. And it's showing in his cognitive decline.
Where was this smoke for Joe Biden? That's the one question.
Oh, I had it for Joe Biden. Where was you? I wasn't no Joe Biden fan. Joe Biden was a racist too. But at least he didn't run a racist regime. At least he ran a regime that I can respect because it helped middle-class Americans. I did pretty good during his regime. How did you do? Nobody suffered like they're suffering now under this guy. So whether I like him or not, screw that. It's not about a personal thing of whether you like Uncle Trump. It's about, for the average American, what I can afford and what I can't afford. And what he's doing is making life unaffordable. Why has it got to be complicated? He's making it so we can't afford to live. That sounds simple to me. Anyway, if you're liking the content, like, share, subscribe. Catch us every night, every Sunday night, 9 p.m. And normally I'm not this harsh, but right now I'm looking at what's going on, and I'm getting kind of sick. We're in trouble in this country, and it's time we wake up.
But everything's going to be all right.
It's either that or it's not. And I really hope it's not the latter. But I don't really know how we can come out of this because I don't see Trump wanting to give up power.